Even the mother animals have this sense. I am reminded of the mother salmon who swims upstream against perilous currents to protect and ultimately give life to her young. Yet we are living in a time where we are being bombarded by counterintuitive messages. The media, the feminist movement, public educators, and politicians have all conditioned far too many women, particularly moms, to question and deny human nature, to give over to the government what by our God-given human nature is ours. Today I want to recount a chilling yet revealing conversation I had with one of my son's former second grade teachers and a fellow mom just a few days after the Sandy Hook massacre. We were two moms taking a few of our children to a play audition when we saw each other. And upon seeing each other, we hugged and cried together, sharing our grief over this incomprehensible crime, these tragedies, and sharing our fear that this same fate might one day befall a school in our district. What she said in that moment, I believe, should be a clarion call for every American, particularly every Second Amendment advocate in America. In reference to my son's school and every classroom in that school, she said, "We are like sitting ducks." Sitting ducks. This woman, this fellow mom and teacher, with tears in her eyes and fear, admitting that if a madman or a terrorist were to enter my children's school, she would have no recourse. I'll never forget the fear and helplessness in her eyes. Now, I'm not sure if she was a pro or anti-Second Amendment person, but I know that at that moment she made a perfect case for arming every willing teacher in every school in America.
Yes.
Everyone knows our schools are gun-free zones, and common sense tells us our children are indeed sitting ducks. And in the wake of Sandy Hook, what has been the response? More gun control. And who is leading the charge in calling for more gun control? Parents of those poor children murdered at Sandy Hook that day, and particularly my fellow moms. It's insanity, and again, it's counterintuitive. Just like a woman who pushes for gun control is like a chicken that roots for Colonel Sanders, a mom who pushes for gun control is like a mother hen who roots for the fox. Yet it is mind-boggling to note that women, moms in particular, are leading the charge to disarm America. The push for greater gun control has recently been dubbed the next great women's movement.
Yeah.
Aided and abetted by feminist groups like the National Organization for Women and a coalition of mothers calling themselves Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. As a gun-owning mom of 7, I find it ironic but predictable that the same now feminists whose rallying cry is "my body, my choice" under the banner of empowerment are the same liberal feminists who seek to disempower me by stripping me of my Second Amendment rights.
Bravo!
They want to leave me like a sitting duck to those who do harm to me and my children. In their perverted minds, my body, my choice only seems to apply to women who seek the non-existent humanistic right to kill their children in the womb, rather than those of us who seek to preserve our God-given unalienable right to protect our children's lives.
Absolutely.
Whether witting or unwitting, to be anti-Second Amendment is to be anti-life.
That's great.
As for the moms demanding action for gun sense in America, my message to them is stop seeking gun sense and instead seek truth and the legacy of common sense chronicled in our Constitution and proclaimed for us by our founding fathers. For it is a mutable truth that every school massacre, be it Littleton, Paducah, Blacksburg, Aurora, Tucson, and now Newtown, took place in what were deemed gun-free zones, where the victims were sitting ducks, as the cowards who perpetrated these atrocities knew they would not fight back. In reflecting upon Sandy Hook, we know that Connecticut already had some of the most restrictive gun laws in the nation.
Hear, hear.
As John Hammond from Gun Owners of America correctly pointed out, the anti-gun policy didn't work out very well for the kids at Newtown. All it did was telegraph to Adam Lanza that you can get your 15 minutes of fame, shoot up a classroom of first graders, and you don't have to worry that there's anyone out there who's going to shoot back. Moms of America, the time for choosing is at hand. We must not allow ourselves, our teachers, or our children to be sitting ducks. As moms, we must instead be like swimming salmon, forging ahead upstream against this culture of political piranhas who seek to shred our Constitution and the God-given unalienable rights of men and women. Just as our brave oath keepers here today, those heroes among us, who like our founders before us have pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor as guardians of our republic, we moms must do the same. We must unite in prayer and purpose with our oath keepers. For as moms, we are the heart of our homes, but we are also the heart of America. And we are the gatekeepers of her freedom. We must proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof, while cultivating a culture of faith, hope, charity, family, courage, honor, truth, virtue, patriotism, perseverance, and self-reliance in our homes. These and God's grace are what will preserve freedom in our Constitution. These and God's grace are what will save America. Of that we can be sure. But as Thomas Paine well knew, what we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. I'll end with a quote from the late, great Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, who would surely stand with us in this cause of freedom. And she said, she knew, as we know, freedom is not synonymous with an easy life. There are many difficult things about freedom. It does not give you safety. It creates moral dilemmas for you. It requires self-discipline. It imposes great responsibilities. But such is the nature of man, and in such consists his glory and salvation. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless
you. Okay, get out a pad and a pen. Write down Tara Koza. If you see her speaking anywhere, get there. It's going to be an awesome speech. Thank you, Tara. I'll do a quick visual. Tara, if you don't mind. Go and stand up next to me. A very quick visual for the women out there, okay? I'm 6'5", 250 pounds. Tara, come stand next to me. Unarmed, she doesn't stand much of a chance. Put a 9mm or a .38 in her hands, I'm done for. Great visual.